putting all this bud in front of me when you know I'm trying to quit it? I was talking to the universe. And I said, all right, it seemed to me like you trying to get me to smoke this stuff. I say, if you trying to get me to smoke this stuff, you make somebody bring it to the door. Make somebody bring it to the door, and then I'll know for a fact. That's what you're trying to say to me. Do you not know, no soon as I said that to the universe, somebody knocked on the door. I was like, damn, who is that? I went and opened the door. It was my next door neighbor, the guy that I was renting from. He came in with a big old bag of bud. Hey, Paul, man, do you smoke weed? I looked at him crazy as hell. I said, man, what made you knock on my door and ask me that? He said, I just thought it would be a good gesture to do. Do you get down or what? I said, well, I was trying to quit, but if you want to give me one, just go ahead and give me a little piece. He gave me a little piece and left. I set the shit on the table. I looked at it for 2 days. And then I finally got the balls to light it up. I lit it and smoked it and felt really good. When he got my book, started reading it, and was like really, really getting more out of the book. It was really sinking in more, and I was able to get my lesson better. So, you know, from there, I went on and got the medical card and all that old stuff, because it is medical. It helped my brain. Plus, it was my back. I had problems and this and that and woo-woo. But I'm just saying, it is really amazing to finally hear someone confirm what my suspicion has been all the time, that that plant is nothing but concentrated sunlight. And I'm sure that's what it is, because that's what the sun told me. It said, every plant on this earth, including you, and every rock, every mineral, everything on this planet is only a coagulation of your supreme creator essence, which is the sun. And you know, I've been smoking bud ever since. Then we got these white people on the earth that knows that. They knows that it opens up our pineal gland and everything. So what do? They come and make it illegal. Actually locking people up in jail for it while they sell alcohol and tobacco. So let me let her finish. I just wanted to say that.
See, most of us have the subconscious definition that was truly intentionally created, that intuition is not a fact. It is a fact. It actually is a capacity to perceive past, present, and future at the same time. So when a person is able to intuit, that's the highest level of knowingness. Sixth circuit, when we actually move into temporal lobes, etc., where you have extra sensory hearing, you can hear anything, any place in the world and in other dimensions. This is also where you can begin to see into other dimensions, etc. And then finally moving into sixth circuit is activation of the frontal lobes, where depending upon your physiologic structure, you can access and utilize the entire electromagnetic spectrum as you know it. Now, it's very...
Okay, now what she's saying right now is what you guys see happening with the lights. All right, and you see the lights going through the cable. You see the lights in all the fires, green and orange. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is going on right now because the whole world has been locked into this energy that induces and conduces everything in our universe. It's not just limited to Earth. It goes throughout the whole universe. But right now, the sun is wanting to talk to everybody. So the sun sent me here to the earth. Okay, now you're not going to sit up and overlook the fact that I told the damn fire to go out and it went out. All right, and working on the Oregon fire. I don't know if it done went out already or whatever, but I've been meditating trying to put that damn fire out too. But see, these white people on the earth, they want to keep all this knowledge locked down. So they're not going to never acknowledge anything about the capacity of us melanated people's brains. And that's going to cost them very dearly. That's the reason why the fires are going to start back up and burn up more houses, because your ignorance is not going to be tolerated on this earth anymore. And the sun is being so patient with you guys, but you want to remain stupid and worship your Jesus and think that you're going to keep murdering everybody on the earth in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And the sun is being so patient with you guys that I'm telling you, you have already ran out of time and you're on borrowed time now. We got electromagnetism just speaking to you, showing you the capabilities of it. And you guys still want to overlook that shit, so sayonara. And I do mean sayonara, R-A-Ra. That's what I mean. Because the electromagnetic spectrum of this universe has made itself perfectly clear to all you want to worship Jesus as people. And here goes another lady corroborating my story that people can lock into the electromagnetic spectrum. That's what I have locked us all into. All right, from listening to this lady and other ladies that I listen to and other men that I listen to and reading books, I learned how to do that shit. Plus, I found out that I did a whole lot of I was predisposed to this knowledge in past lives. And one of the main purposes that I returned to this earth was to repair it. And I'm guaranteeing you that I'm going to do it, and I don't care if I have to kill everybody, burn everything. And this earth is going to be returned to the calibration that the universe meant for it to be, and I don't care who have to get burnt up, ran over by a car, your plane going to fall out of the sky, water going to drown your ass, bees going to sting you and kill you, mosquitoes going to sting you and kill you, your brother's going to pick up a gun and shoot your ass. You getting your ass off this planet if you think you're going to keep perpetuating Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. That shit is coming to a stop. I'm warning you all. You better make up your mind today who you're going to serve.
Interesting, and a distorted perception of what I'm talking to you about was elucidated in Lawnmower Man. Okay, any of you that actually saw Lawnmower Man, it was a very profound movie, because actually what they did is externally give this what we call idiot savant the neurotransmitters, which means that they gave him the liquid aspect of the thoughts that are necessary to activate all of these different levels of the brain. Now, do understand what I'm saying, because I'm telling you that every thought that you have is a chemical reality in your blood, and therefore determines the entire quality not only of your physical body, but of your entire life. Because we are now talking about electromagnetic attraction. So these neurotransmitters have been isolated for the last 20 years, and especially the ones on emotion. There is a particular neurotransmitter for joy, peace, harmony, love, the frequency of vibration of the atom, the content of the chemistry, the electromagnetic spectrum that it activates has all been identified. It's in the literature. So therefore, it's understood that exposing a person to particular sounds, particular color, particular frequency of light actually will create neurotransmitters that will immediately put a person in a particular mindset of thought. So yes, depending upon your environment and who's manipulating it, you can be put into depression. You can actually be put into suicidal thoughts. You can actually be put into violent thoughts. But if you do not understand this, then you're just a victim. And you will carry out these acts, and then you will then have a sociological reason to be prosecuted and incarcerated. So they've been doing these kind of experiments for a very, very, very long time. And it's very interesting that most of it has been done on us. The prisons have been main human guinea pig areas, and so have been the Head Start centers and the public schools. Because the first part of my book talks about the tens of thousands of children whose blood has been taken to actually elucidate the growth curves of the African child. So mothers who are so willing to take their children to these areas to get their blood drawn, to have their children have substances introduced into their bodies that they have no idea what it is. Okay, whatever it is that they allege, have no idea of the entity that they are actually feeding and what it might do to you later. See, it's very important that if you're going to be in a technological society, you must be technologically astute. Why don't you know what the Hubble telescope is? Why don't you know what it's looking at? Why don't you know what McDonnell aircraft is sending up every week? Why don't you know about the actual space station? Why don't you understand what's happening with the fogs on the planet? Why don't you know that they already have maps of the United States where over 1/3 of the land mass is gone? You must know that, because you can't sit up and talk about, I'm going to go to school next year for the next 2 years and get a master's degree when the city ain't going to even be here. What are you talking about? Okay, you have to understand what your purpose is, and you have to understand that as long as you're committed to Earth, you've got to have something to stand on. Unless you've activated 6 or 7 circuits, where then you can fly. Doesn't matter. Okay, but if you haven't done that yet, then for you to then learn how to do that, you've got to then have a stable foundation and understand where those areas of stability and instability are. Now, that says then, what is the priority? Because when we actually talk about existence, that means that, of course, you have to have a place to stay and food to eat, but the next thing you have to have is information. And you have to make sure that what you do invest in as far as food and clothing is appropriate. Most of the clothing and the food that Africans buy is totally worthless and definitely clogs up their body. Now that's awesome when you understand that you wear clothes that are dangerous for you. Okay, but again, you have to know who you are. These 3 books I have, The Melanotropic Peptides, Volume 1, 2, and 3 by Mac E. Harley. These are volumes of books that were actually collected works all over the world that were finally sent to Mr. Hadley from the Department of Anatomy at the University of Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. Now there is a club of scientists that do nothing but do research on the melanin molecule. And if you're not in that club, then if you want to have access to the information, they will send it to you for a cost. These 3 volumes of books cost $608. This is what I invested my money in. Because, see, I understand that if I do not know who I am, then there's someone who does know who I am that can definitely alter my plans. So I have to know as much about myself as possible so that if there are any areas that I am sensitive to within myself, then I know what to do about that and to stay on guard so that that will always be a side of myself that I protect. Now, the question is, I think it's very interesting that obviously this is a calculated means of you not getting the information when they charge you $200 a volume. Okay, however, that is only a calculated means if you're not getting the information, if you truly believe that lack is a natural state of being.
Okay, so I'm going to stop this right here because, as you guys can see, her name is Dr. Jewel Pookrum, and this is called 7 Circuits of the Brain. Now, I have a whole lot of her DVDs and stuff like that put into my computer, and I also have a whole lot of other brilliant women. I channel a lot of information from women as well as men, but mostly through women. I'm just like Morris Donaldson say, I can really appreciate the female gender more than the male gender. Not that I exclude the male gender, but I just feel vibrations from the female that makes me be a better captive audience. And not only that, it just seemed to me like they don't have as much ego as men does, you know, and that's one of the things that really helped me. And I'm not saying that to put men down, but I'm just saying it's because it's true. That's why I listen to a lot of women singers when I'm listening to music. If you notice, most of the songs that I sing, if you ever saw me singing, is always female. That has nothing to do with me being a fag or anything like that. Is what it is that I just feel the vibrations of women a lot stronger. I mean, think about it. I'm male, so why would I want to listen to another male singing how much he loves a woman other than listen to a woman sing how much she loves a man? It just makes totally good sense to me that I should be attracted to the female more than the male. And so that's the way it works with me, all right? So on that note, I just want you to know that the lady right here is very brilliant. If you go online, you can find a whole lot of her stuff that she's generous enough to put online for people to just be able to attain this knowledge. So I would advise everyone to do your YouTube thing and find out some of the information she has to talk about, because you will be very intrigued, as well as just what she said, very informed, which is the most important commodity on earth, is solid, reliable, accreditable information. Okay, we can't let these Europeans keep making us stupid, because that's just what she just explained, that if you don't know who you are, there's somebody else out there who does know who you are, and I guarantee you they will take your God or goddess being away from you and puts Jesus Christ, Yahweh, or Jehovah on your ass, okay? Now let's go find someone else. Now remember, her name is Dr. Jewel Pookrum, and this is called 7 Circuits of the Brain, and there is so much more work on the computer that she has done. I would advise you to get some of her books, which I haven't, but my circumstances is going to be changing financially here real soon, as to where you better believe I'm going to try to stack up as many of her books as I can. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed it. Peace and blessing. May I Hotel.